Morning. How's it going? Good
Didn't
morning.
recognize you without your hat.
Yeah, the internet is slow today.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get my phone out.
Can you hear me?
Let's turn this
Can y'all
off
hear
and
me?
then
Yep.
I think y'all are muted.
Yeah.
let me go to 3G on this.
Bob, if I unmute, they can hear you.
Test now. Can you hear me now?
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Nice.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year. Yes. Very happy New Year. Were y'all awake to see it come in?
No. No, we don't do that anymore.
I've heard so many people say that. They were been asleep a long time when it got here.
Now I'm sitting out on the patio. We're like what is it, 70? Almost 70 up here in
Wow.
Memphis. And a couple weeks ago we were like negative something or other. It was terrible.
Oh, I know.
But now we're making hay while the sun shines.
Yeah, same here. It's very warm and nice, and
Yep.
it was so cold a few weeks ago.
Yeah. So we're enjoying it while we got it. How are you, Robbie?
I think you're still
Can't hear
muted.
you.
Let's
Yep.
see if I can.
Okay.
There
Hey,
you
how
go.
you doing?
Yeah, I was going to say I watched the fireworks at Pier Park
Oh, nice.
off of my
Good,
balcony.
Good morning.
Morning, Charlie.
Morning,
Hey.
Charlie. How you doing?
Good. How are y'all?
The problem with watching the fireworks is you got to wait until it's dark. I have to get the rerun. Hey, John. Can't see you.
There he is.
You'd rather see me than be me.
Yeah, haven't seen you in a while. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to all of you. I've been in Huntsville at my sister's house and a little out of pocket, and so I apologize for missing all the good stuff. But
Was it cold there?
Welcome back.
we got out the day before it turned cold. So yeah, it was cool when we were there, but it was really cold after we left.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, as you probably can imagine, today I want to talk about old years and new years and transitions and change and opportunities, and look at some ways in which we can get the most out of last year and this year. And when I say get the most out of last year, you could say, well, it's already over. But the truth is, the lessons that it provides, the opportunities to learn, are still going. And so I would say that the very first thing we should do is start with reflection. Reflect on last year, reflect on how things really went. I see a lot of people who live according to how they would like things to be. And in fact, in some ways, don't even acknowledge how things really are, because they're so locked into how they want things to be. And but if we start with honesty and try to do an evaluation of last year, and I don't just mean the typical, I had these goals and plans, and I'm reached 85% of this goal I was trying to reach, and these things I wanted to do, and I got some things done and not others. That's important and that's helpful. But at a deeper level, reflecting on, were there themes that emerged from last year? Were there lessons that are ongoing and that need, that we still need to be pursuing and learning? And are there ways in which we really messed up and really lost out and really came up short? And even though that's painful to consider and look at, it could be the most beneficial thing we do. How can I improve? How can I improve my life? How can I improve the life of those around me? And I don't think we can without reflection, without really looking at, exploring, and as a part of that reflection, evaluating. Now, I recommend writing it down. If you journal, or even if you don't, if you're trying to learn something, if you're trying to reflect, seeing it in writing, taking the time to write it and reflect, I think is so helpful. And I think you'll find that there's a lot of things that will occur to you that wouldn't if you were just sort of randomly thinking about it or thinking about last year occasionally or something. But if you take the time to sit down and write and say, what was last year like? I know I did that a few days ago. And I think in my journal, I think I've written probably almost 10 pages so far of reflecting, of considering, of exploring, and of evaluating. And I have a lot more to do. I'm nowhere close to finishing that process. But if the past is prologue, then what happened last year is going to happen this year. And without us, especially if there were things that we can do better and pitfalls that we encountered or failures, addressing them is going to be our best hope for having the best 2023 that we can. And if we don't evaluate, if we don't reflect, if we don't consider, then we and then of course get to the work of improving and dealing with these things, then we're doomed to just continue to repeat everything. And you can say, well, hey, 2022 was not bad at all, so repeating that wouldn't, I'd be happy to do that, and that's fine. But if you want to improve, if you want to have the best chance at having the best 2023 possible, I do think beginning with reflection of last year is important. The next thing I think we need to do is accept. So we accept last year as it was. We don't try to pretend it was something it wasn't. We don't try to, sugarcoat it or whitewash it. We say, this is what last year was. And I cannot really evaluate it. I cannot really determine what it was really like if I'm not looking at what really happened. So accept what is. It's related to last year, where you can evaluate it, where you can reflect on it, but then also accept what is now and moving forward. Just acceptance. And we all have things that we wish were different. We all have that which we're like, this is not what I want, or this is not what I thought would be. But accepting it is the first step toward peace, towards actually dealing with it. Dealing with what is not, dealing with fantasies or illusions or denials or pretense does nothing. But if we really focus on what is and we deal with it, then that's our best chance of having this best year. I would say the next thing I would say is embrace. And I'm saying embrace everything, embrace life, embrace all the opportunities. But in addition to that, and what is sometimes more challenging, is embrace change. And these can be very small, minor changes, or they can be the huge kind that catch us by surprise. And it's like, didn't see this coming. But, and you could say, I didn't see this coming, and it's not what I want. And it's throwing my life, my job, my family, my whatever in a whole new direction. Embracing that and letting be what will be and accepting it is our best chance of having our best life and best new year. whether we think it or not, we are changing. And if we could look at ourselves this time last year, there might be very small, nearly imperceptible changes, but we've changed. We're changing physically as we age. We're changing mentally and emotionally as we experience life and experience the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune of life, and the joys and the disappointments and everything in between. We are being changed. And change is good. Change is good. If we fight against it, we really can be our worst enemies when we fight against what life is offering us. But change is inevitable, so we can't stop it. And our best thing we could do is embrace it. And in that embracing, in looking at what is happening right now in your life and what is going to happen tomorrow and for the next, the entire year, if you say, this, whatever it is an opportunity. This, whatever it is my teacher. This, whatever it is a gift to me from God, the universe, whatever. It's a gift. Life. And to have life and to have opportunities are gifts. And so approach it as, that would bring, I think, seen the right way, would bring excitement. I'm excited by this challenge. I'm excited by this opportunity. I'm excited by this lesson. And I'm, in one sense, I could say, I really regret that I haven't learned this lesson already. I really regret having to go through this remedial class. But in another way, in another very real sense, we could say, how fortunate am I that life has said, hey, I'm going to keep helping you. I'm going to keep teaching you until you get it. These patterns, these opportunities, they're going to keep coming around. And maybe I'll do a little better than I did last time. Maybe I'll do January 2nd, 2023. Maybe I'm doing a little better than I was January 2nd, 2022 or 2015 or 2010. I hope so. But regardless, I have the opportunity to do better, and that's what I want to focus on. I would say there's absolutely nothing wrong with making plans and having goals, but they also, I think, have to be approached the right way and very careful with how we do them. And I would say, if you're going to make goals and plans, make them very flexible and let them be fluid and adjust, because I think the worst thing we can do is be rigid with our goals and plans. And if you're going to focus on anything, focus on the process, focus on your habits, focus on your routines. If you want real change to happen, or if you want a better life to happen, it's going to happen moment by moment in daily ways, not some big goal I have on the horizon that may or may not ever get here. But I know it will get here if I today just take the baby step, just take the small step, just take the opportunities of today. I will get there. I've said this so many times before, but as a novelist, if I want to write a book this year, the worst thing I could do is say, I got 365 pages to write. But if I say, I have 1 page to write today, just 1 page. What is it you're wanting to accomplish? What is it you're wanting to do? Maybe you have some health, some, physical, some emotional, mental, psychological, spiritual goals. What do you do today? And nothing wrong with having the larger goal out there somewhere. Maybe you write it down, or maybe you're walking toward it, but If you're not doing it daily, that's not going to happen. You're never going to get there. So what am I doing today? How am I growing, evolving, changing today? How am I embracing today? How am I embracing this year, this life, by embracing this day, this moment? And this moment has many opportunities. And if I embrace them, then I'll get to the bigger opportunities, because it is step by step. It is the process. It is the journey. And that relates to another thing I would say is practice letting go. And in that, I mean, practice letting go of attachment, especially to outcomes. So rather than looking at these long-term, big idea, big goal, big whatever, focus on the now, focus on this moment, this day, and let go of our attachment to the outcome, because whatever our goal is, we're not going to reach it in exactly the way we believe we are. And when we do, it's not going to be exactly what we thought it was going to be. And I spoke to someone recently planning big changes for this year. And I reminded him that whatever you're thinking, that's not what it's going to be like. So if we are so hyper-focused and have such a concrete plan, idea, goal, image in our minds of what it's going to be like, we're in trouble. But I'll relate it to, writing a novel again. For me, I'm a discovery writer. I write towards something, mostly in the dark. And, the writing a novel has been compared to a cross-country drive at night. You can only see in front, as far as your headlights illuminate, but that's all you need to see. You can get all the way across the country, all the way across the continent. But if I'm starting in Florida and I'm headed to California, I can't see California. I can see the 100 yards or whatever it is that my headlights are illuminating. But guess what? That's all I need to see right now. Make it that far, and then I'll do the next 100, and then the next, and eventually I'll get there. So as you're moving toward goals, moving toward the better version of yourself, moving towards what you're wanting your life to look like and be for whatever amount of life we have left, nothing wrong with that, but just be open and flexible and allow to be what will be, and not be so rigid on and attached to outcomes. The next thing I would say is look for opportunities to connect. Obviously, that is with others. We learn and grow and evolve and are sustained and nurtured and edified and educated and inspired and buoyed up by connections with others. So seek those out, be open to those when people are seeking you out. They're wanting to connect, allow for that. We have to be careful that we don't fill our lives up so full that there's no room for people who are trying to connect with us, for them to be able to. Look for connections, but then also be open to allowing others to connect with you. There's people that are seeking you out. There's people you right now, you could name them. You could think of, so-and-so had said, let's get together sometime, or let's do, you may say that, that just because someone wants that doesn't mean that's the thing you should be doing. Maybe someone's wanting to connect with you that is just going in a different direction, and the connection is not possible. I'm not saying you have to go with everyone's whim and whatever they're wanting. They may be very vampiric with their energy sucking, so I'm not saying you need to just say yes to everything, but say yes to good connections, and whether they're being sought of you or whether you're seeking them out, just continually try to connect with yourself. And this relates to the next thing I would say, which is care for yourself. Do what you need. And there are things that are obvious and a lot of people think about when they think about self-care, like saying, a spa day or some kind of vacation or resting and relaxing. And those things are fine. But I'm talking about mentally, emotionally, physically, taking care of yourself, handling yourself with care. I'm amazed by the way I see how so many people treat things. How someone treats others says nothing about the others. It only says something about them. How people treat their possessions. And I am in no way saying we should be possessed by our possessions or that they should mean more to us than people or anything else. But I've watched people. And so like when I play music, you travel, you set up, you play with others oftentimes, you tear down, take it back home, rinse and repeat. And I see people, the way they sort of throw their equipment around, the way they are sort of careless with their cords, with their whatever. And very often they're the ones that's like, oh, we're set up and ready to play. Oh, I can't find this, that, or the other. Or, oh, this isn't working because I keep throwing it around. I keep stomping on it. So I would just say be careful, full of care for yourself, for your things, for the things in your orbit, the people that you're responsible for, the possessions that you have that if you are careful with will last and will be a good investment for you, but then also maybe benefit someone else in the future, and you can go too far. I'm not saying that we're so careful that we never take risks, personally. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying we're so careful that it's like if I said, I really take good care of my books, and I do, but I wouldn't want to care for them so much that I couldn't read them, that I wouldn't get out of them what I need. There's a balance between the two. So if getting out of this, having the experience of reading it is going to crack the spine or make get the pages dingy or something, so be it. But I will care for it as much as I can. You won't find dog ears. You won't find stains, coffee cup stains and things on my books. And also, and this is to me the most important thing, when I get ready to read it again, I'm going to know where it is. Or, I mean, within reason, it's in this library. A lot of times I'll know the exact place on the shelf, but it'll also be in a condition that will be rereadable. So just take care. Just be careful with yourself, but then also with others. And, Jesus talked about treating others like we want to be treated. Maybe spend some time thinking about how you treat others and see if the way you're being treated is some kind of reflection of what you're putting out there, how you're treating yourself or how you're treating them. When you see someone that doesn't treat themselves very well, doesn't take good care of themselves, you'll probably see that others treat them that same way. When you see someone who doesn't take good care of their stuff, their possessions, their vehicle, say it's always a mess, it's full of stuff and, old food containers and empty soda bottles and just trash and clothes and shoes. And if someone dares to get into that vehicle, that environment, they probably not going to treat it the same as they would if you got into someone that's pristine, that's clean, it's organized, you can tell someone takes care of it. So if you take care of yourself, you'll probably attract those that will take care of you. If you take care of your things, you'll probably attract those that take care of your things with you and help you. It begins with us. It begins with our approach, our care, So take care this year of yourself and others. The next one, and I could have easily started with this one and probably should have. I just wrote these down, and I started with reflection and evaluation, that kind of thing, looking at last year and the lessons that we still should be learning from it. But this one should be number one, can be number one on any list, and that is guard your mind, your thoughts. Remember that the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your thoughts. What kind of life you want to have? It's all here. Absolutely. And that means that no matter what happens outside of you, that if you'll guard your mind, guard your thoughts, then you're going to be okay. And we can have, life can gut punch us. It can, slap us in the face. It can cause some rifts and ruptures and whatever. And there may be a momentary loss of equilibrium, of peace, of whatever. But if we're guarding our minds, if we're guarding our thoughts, and we can come back to that and say, okay, I have no control of what's happening out here, but I have full control of what's here. And let me get back to the center, because the center will hold. Let me get back to that place of peace. Let me get back to that place of acceptance that brings that peace. And let me make sure I'm not obsessing on things, especially things I can't control, especially outcomes. Make sure that I am not wasting these precious moments. I saw someone posted, they figured up how many minutes there's going to be in 2023. And she said, I wish you all 500,000, whatever it was, the number of minutes that are all good. And outwardly, all those minutes are not going to be good. What's happening in the world is not. There's so much that's just horrific. But of those, how many ever minutes we get to choose A, what we're going to do with them, B, how we're going to approach them, what's happening in our thoughts and minds. Related to this, guarding our thoughts and minds, I would say guard your time, guard your energy. It's so easy for the day to go by. It's like, where did the day go? Where did my time go? And that's all we have. It's this limited time that is just rushing away, just flowing so quickly. So guard it. Guard those minutes. And what I was saying earlier about our focus should be on moments and days instead of the year itself. Thinking in terms of minutes helps with that. Because in this hour, I get 60 of them. What am I going to do with them? In this day, how many do I get in this week? And if I get into that level and looking at, how many I actually have, which is unknown, but it is limited. And probably for all of us in this live session right now, there's less in front of us than there is behind us. It's probably true. It's probably very true of all of us. And it may be a lot truer than we even want to think or realize. But what are we going to do with them? How many ever it is, whatever our allotment is, what are we going to do with them? So keep that in mind. Another one I'm going to throw in, this is important. And like I said, these are in no particular order, but I would say it's just a sort of almost a side note, but I would encourage you to take advantage of this transition, this time from one year to another, to, as much as possible, declutter your mind, your thought processes, your paradigms, your mentalities, your mindsets. Declutter. Declutter how many things are taking up your time. I've talked about being open to people who want to connect and to opportunities. If our lives are so full that we can't do those things, it's probably overcluttered. And then, of course, our surroundings with our possessions and our things and our, it's amazing how much decluttering outside of yourself in your environment will help unclutter your mind. And we probably all have far more than what we need or could ever use. Sharing that with others, decluttering our lives, our minds, our bodies is going to make this an even better year. So I think we'll probably maybe talk about this again next week as well. I have a lot more to go over. We'll see, but I feel like this is a good place to stop for today and have you comment and reflect and share anything you want to, and then we'll probably pick this up next week. And as I was researching, I found a couple of really good lists of more specific things on how to make this year the best it can be. So we'll probably do that next week. But anyway, thoughts, comments, responses?
I have one comment. I went to a funeral last week, and the preacher said 90% of life is showing up. Don't waste it. Enjoy your life. And I tell my husband all the time, I want to live like a dog, enjoying every day that I have, every moment, because that's how I have 2 dogs. That's exactly how they live. They enjoy every second of their life. And but I definitely want to show up I want to be that 90% showing up for life.
Yeah.
So it's good to see y'all.
You too. My favorite basketball player that's active right now, not favorite all time, but he's one of my favorite all time, but LeBron James is and just probably the best to ever play the game. And anybody who would argue that would say he's probably number 2, even if they wouldn't give him the number 1 top spot. But I watched him play Friday night, I think it was, on his 38th birthday, and he scored 47 points.
Wow.
He's having no player in history has ever had a 20th season. This is his 20th season in the NBA. He's playing at such a high level, but when he's asked all the time about these things, and he said what you said. He said, my greatest asset is availability. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be prepared. I'm putting in the work, but I'm available. I'm available to my coach. I'm available to my teammates. And boy, is he available. And that's not by accident. He has a mindset. He has a mentality. He has preparation. He's only doing what he's able to do. This isn't just because he is a freak of nature and a one of a kind, human being, but his investment. He spends over $1 million a year in body maintenance. He takes care of himself. There's no drama. He's not, it's inspiring. And when you see someone succeeding, it's not an accident. It didn't just fall on them. And it's not like, oh, they're lucky. They're a lucky one and I'm not. No, they're working, they're investing. And part of it is showing up, being there. Anyone else?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Michael, for this topic. And when you just said that, I guess what it reaffirms for myself is that that daily preparation is focusing on my spiritual practices. And it's like the foundation and that preparation for whatever happens or whatever I get the opportunity to give to others, give to myself. When life happens, it all starts right there. So that's how incredibly important, and it's a good reminder of the daily spiritual practices that I do are preparing me, and to be able to do the things that and to face the things. And the other thing I really liked, and I added a little bit to it, was whatever happens, whenever life throws my way, this X, that's whatever has been thrown my way, is an opportunity to practice more X. Whatever it is that I'm needing to do, whether that's patience, whether that's more positivity, whatever, you know. And I think that's just a really helpful way. And I appreciate that you started me thinking along those lines, because I used to go, this dreadful thing's happening. That's an opportunity.
Yeah, whatever you get, you use it.
Yeah, and it can be an opportunity to practice something that I want to do better at. Sometimes that's patience. Sometimes that's living in uncertainty and being okay with that. Just lots of different things. So it's really a better way to look at stuff. And thank you.
Thank you.
Great to see you guys.
Anyone else?
I think as you get more gray hairs, more important all these steps are. You don't have as much time, you don't have as much energy, your goals, your planning, being realistic, taking care of yourself. All this gets a little tougher.
Yes, it does. Yeah, energy level alone.
Yeah.
You know. And then of course, if we're dealing with anything, any ailments, any physical health issues, and those increase as we age, you know. So that goes back to that self-care and giving ourselves grace and doing what we can for today. And I can't run a marathon today, but I might could run to the mailbox and back, you know, or I can't write a novel today, but I could write a page, maybe. And maybe if I wake up and first thing in the morning I'm not feeling it, okay, that's okay. I'll have some coffee. Maybe I'll go back to bed. Work on it later this afternoon. I'll see where my energy is, you know, I'll go with the flow of what is. And I'll be, and this happened last week. I'm very active, and I'm almost always doing something, you know, and then all of a sudden a migraine will hit me and I'm stopped in my tracks, and I have foolishly tried to push through it, and it just makes it worse. I know if I'll stop, get in that quiet room, be still, close my eyes, I'll do that. A lot of times don't even need medication. That's what's needed. But if I resist that, so if you're dealing with something, let it be, and just know that I'll feel better later. I can come back to it, and you know, everything will be waiting. So
I love that. I call that I love that. I call that honoring myself, honoring my feelings, and in that moment, it doesn't mean it's just for that time, that moment that I need to do it, and I'm gonna move on and do something later. But honoring myself, yeah, I love that.
Yeah. Thank you all. Happy New Year, and we'll pick this up next week and talk some more. And I hope to see you then. Have a great week. Have a great moment.
Happy New Year.
Absolutely.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.